welcome to Career Lab Wednesday. I am your host, George Miller, and I am here. Oh, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday today. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, this is Career Lab, and as I am getting increasingly busy, I'm not always doing Wednesdays. Sometimes I got to do a different day of the week. So, today we are on Tuesday. Career Lab on LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. I invite all questions career related. Anything that's on your heart can be around managing, developing the relationships you want at work, improving communication, questions about interviewing, mock interviews, strategy, purpose, happiness in your job. Any of these things are fair game. I invite you. You can either jump in directly here on Zoom and talk one-to-one with me, or you can type your questions into the comment section, and I will do my best to answer your questions that way. The past few weeks, we've had a lot of fun. I've had a few people really engaging a lot and able to get a lot of value for themselves in whatever the challenge was that they were working on, and their questions impact everybody, because then as you're listening and you're able to relate. So you don't have to try to stay on topic with me. I will tie it back to emotional intelligence and influence. But I'm going to get going here on talking about today's topic of emotional intelligence in the workspace. And let me find this. Here we go. Okay, the key to influence and impact. So emotional intelligence in leadership, the key to influence and impact. So if you've joined in before, you know that I consider all of us leaders. Everybody's leading all the time. It's only the question of what am I leading towards? We are all creatures on this planet that anything I do affects somebody else in some kind of a way. I say that and I'm a little freaked out. Well, good, because anxiety is the doorway to aliveness and excitement in your life. So I'm working on that as well, of shifting my fears and sensations that I used to say are an issue or to be tamped down, to say, actually, maybe that's a good thing. But anyway, back to the topic of emotional intelligence and how that's the key to influence. So I've been doing a review through Fukuyama of Hegel and some others, but this idea that as people, it's not just the economic side of things that we want. It's not just self-preservation. Yes, we all want to have a roof over our head, a secure line of food, etc., like this sort of thing. Like, yes, that is hugely important to us. However, equally and maybe even more important to human beings is the desire for recognition, the desire to be seen by another human being, to be seen as having value or worth, and to be uniquely me. And this is a big deal in the workplace, because it's not just about compensation. A lot of clients that I've worked with over the years, one of the common complaints that they come in with is, I am underappreciated. People don't recognize the value that I'm bringing. And so right there, we're on that. What Hegel points out is that we have a desire for recognition. It's not just the paycheck. It's not just like all these other things that line up around security and having a job, but that we want recognition. So when I'm working with oftentimes a client like that, it's like they need to learn how to affirm themselves and to say, whoa, the fact that I was hired, the fact that I'm getting compensated for my time, these are all examples that I am being affirmed. It's just different than the affirmation that I might want, perhaps, somebody's not telling me good job enough. Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't actually mean that they don't appreciate me. I'm being appreciated in ways that are new to me. And I'm having to learn how to take in that affirmation. And so there's a lot that somebody can do on their own end in terms of um acknowledging the recognition that is coming their way, that it's just not in the exact form that they want it. Anyway, as I'm talking about this, though, I hope that you're able to start picturing for yourself where in your career and in the relationships that you have, where is it that you're wanting recognition, where you're wanting to be seen and understood in ways that you don't think that's happening. And as you allow yourself to be with that discomfort, I suspect you'll also be able to see into others and see where they might be wanting recognition or thinking that they deserve something that they may or may not be getting. And this is kind of what we don't talk about a lot, is this vulnerable stuff that's going on all the time for people. And it has a huge impact on the workplace. And if I want to influence someone more effectively, it's gonna make sense for me to understand their personality, style, language. It's gonna make sense for me to understand their love language. Is another way of looking at it. And at the same time, if my boss is not choosing to communicate in ways and be aware of my love languages or the ways that I look to be affirmed and that kind of thing, that's not their job. It's nice. It might help them be more effective, but it's not their job. And I can actually get those needs that I have, I can get those met in different ways. And I don't have to rely, and I don't have to turn my boss or manager or whoever into some evil figure because they're not doing that in the way that would probably be more effective. See, I might be right and say, geez, if they would just do these things in this way, this team would function better. May be true. And or that you can say, hey, I noticed that this kind of thing happens in meetings and it seems like there's this challenge, and I have some thoughts about how things might go better. But you have to earn that first. If you're going to be listened to, you need to demonstrate that you really have your boss or your manager's back. And there are so few clients that I've worked with over the years that really have their manager or their boss's back. And there's usually a lot that they can do on their end to improve the relationship and to develop rapport. And so that's usually where we start, is looking at, okay, what are the ways that you're being unclear? So this stuff around influencing other people is a really big deal in the workspace. If I am working with a client, let's say that, my job is to help clients implement new technologies. My ability to influence those clients is going to have a lot to do with my ability to feel and stay present with discomfort. Because I'm going into a situation where my client is scared, they're upset about something, whatever the thing is, it's not working. And sometimes it's going to work best for me to quickly address it and say, oh, here, you do this, 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 and this. And then I may even need to say, and then we're going to talk again next week, because I want to make sure that uh, everything is continuing to work, and to and that kind of direct communication is going to work. And then other times it's going to be better for you to listen and to take the extra half an hour or 10 minutes and let the client talk things through and kind of come to the realization that they really need you. Because then they are more open to your expertise. So it's going to be different with everybody you're talking to. And that's why emotional intelligence is so important, is because you need to be able to stay present with the discomfort as you're assessing what kind of person you're talking to. Because we all have our knee-jerk responses to things. And it's like, well, if I was them, I'd want it this way. Well, they're not you. So let's go ahead and I want to throw a link into the chat for everybody who's listening in. The personality assessment. This thing was designed for hairstylists to quickly assess who is sitting in their chair. So it's a quick assessment. It'll take you 10 minutes to do, and then there's a 10-minute video. And what I want you to keep in mind when you're doing it is the real focus is to get a good sense of who you are, how you make decisions. You make decisions based on the social feeling and trying to smooth things over and avoid conflict? Or do you make decisions based on trying to get results and trying to drive things forward as quickly as possible? And you get a sense of who you are and understand that there's gifts to your personality style. It's a good thing. Then you recognize other people's personality styles. Then you recognize you're talking to somebody who has a different language than you. And you can shift your language, which will be uncomfortable. So again, there's that thing of emotional intelligence, understanding, oh, this is uncomfortable. I feel anxious. I am talking to somebody in a way that is outside of my comfort zone. And that's okay. It's good that I'm doing this. I can stay focused and present while I'm having these feelings of fear, hurt, anger, sadness, and joy. Okay, cool. So the more that you are able to stay present with the uncomfortable feelings, then you will communicate better with people who are different than you. So that's the strategy I'm laying out here today. I want to say, for anybody who's joining in, I love your questions. Go ahead and type your questions into the comment section on YouTube Live or LinkedIn Live. Go ahead and type your questions in. You don't have to stay on the topic of influence and emotional intelligence. You can ask any question career related, and I will do my best to answer that question. I type it into the chat. And if I'm on point for you and it's helpful, let me know. If it's not helpful, tell me and give me more guidance so that I can support you in what you're doing. So go ahead and type your questions in. And while you're doing that, I'll continue sharing about effective leadership. It's not, yes, we have to have a good strategy, and my team needs to understand what that strategy is and have accountability around meeting those things, have checkpoints so that we're all aligned. That is absolutely important. And then underneath that is human behavior, human emotion and motivation, and understanding that we have a deeper drive that is to be recognized. I remember a client of mine who broke into the next echelon in their industry. I mean, they had like made it to this event. They were going in to talk to people and rub shoulders with people that they were really intimidated by. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got this opportunity. I'm going into this thing. Oh my goodness. And after they went in there in the next session, they said, George, I mean, it was great. I'm really happy I got to meet a lot of people. Uh, but somehow I thought it was going to be different. Like I thought that they weren't going to have the same need for recognition and acknowledgement that I have and that the people I work with do. I was like, I put them on a golden pedestal. And I thought like, oh, once I get to that level, then like everyone's just confident and nobody needs praise or recognition or anything. And everyone's just, and he was like, as I'm talking about, I'm realizing like that's just not how humans are. And it was like, so it was actually kind of cool. I was around all these people who I was intimidated by, but because I've been working my emotions and staying in touch with when I feel afraid and hurt and sad and angry about stuff, he was like, it was like I could see through the veil of existence. It was like I could see in another dimension. I could watch this person that I look up to and be like, oh my gosh, their feelings were just hurt there when that person came over and introduced themselves and um, didn't quite give them the nod that I think that person wanted. Huh? Wow. Wow. We're all a bunch of kids in the playground here. Oh my God. Wow. And I can see where somebody felt slighted, where their feelings were hurt about it. Oh, and now I could see how they took that little bit of they didn't think that they got the acknowledgement that they deserved, and so they kind of took a dig at that person. They let out a little aggression, and then that person kind of caught what was going on and made sure to give them a compliment. And and then a little bit later, that person who gave him a compliment now like was like, well, hey, I wanted a compliment too. And so now they're making a maneuver to do that. Wow. And this is going on all the time. Maybe not all the time, but like most of the time. There's this deep desire we have for recognition. And each of us has our own way that we want it. And navigating that and me understanding that I want that recognition, that I want that attention can be really good for me. Then I can go in and I can just say to my team, hey, I want acknowledgement about this. I can say to my friends, family, my wife, I want affirmation around this thing. And then they can give it to me. And it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. Here's the other thing I find in coaching is it took me years to get to the point in my coaching sessions where I take the first 5 to 10 minutes of my coaching session just to say, all right, here's all the stuff I want affirmation for. And I'm just going to talk about this. And like, I'm just going to receive that affirmation from you. And that's literally all I want. Once I get affirmed for the things that I've been working on, then I have an agenda of other items I want to bring into this coaching session. But there's to get this thing about us as humans is a pretty big deal. And when I allow myself to be with my own hungers and needs for attention and recognition, and I can do that, then I allow other people to even give me the attention and the recognition that I'm so hungry for. So I really hope this is landing for everybody. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if you are seeing this. You can see it in your kids, of course, but do you see it in yourself? And that's the real challenge. Do you see it in yourself? Because if I'm unwilling to look at myself and the ways that I want affirmation, the way that I want recognition. And if I'm unwilling to be vulnerable to myself about that, I'm not able to see it as effectively with other people. I might even be able to see it with other people, but I'm not able to make a point of connection around it, and I'm not able to influence with as much goodwill and long-term potential, long-term investment. I might be able to see other people's hungers and and vulnerabilities and perhaps weaknesses, and I might be able to exploit those. But in terms of really developing a quality relationship where we trust each other more and more, I'm not able to do that if I'm unwilling to look at the ways that I'm really hungry for that affirmation, that I want that acknowledgement. And when I do that and I allow it to be a mutual thing with people, then stronger relationships can form and I can develop more trust with people. So we're coming up on the halfway mark here, and I am, I'm going to be looking to wrap up here unless I get some questions. So there's a few ways you can engage with me. You can throw your questions into the comment section, and I will do my best to answer those. And another thing you can do, if I know this is totally vulnerable territory that we're diving in today, is you can set up a one-to-one with me. I'm happy to meet with you 15, 20 minutes and give you a space to talk into what's really important for you. And sometimes people are able to kind of get that clarity that they want and are grateful for that time. And then sometimes it opens up more of Pandora's box, and we're looking at a bigger project, and we can look at what a coaching relationship might be going forward. So I invite you to set up a time with me, and I love this stuff around emotional intelligence and influence and vulnerability. I mean, my whole trajectory in my life has been one of enjoying the edges and taking myself and people up to the edge of what I think is possible. So I did that early in my life with all kinds of things with friends and uh, playing with literally playing with fire, and sometimes it's dangerous. And then transitioning that more into art and music, and like breaking open what I think is possible in terms of uh, reality and understanding myself and understanding the world. And so, helping myself and the audience kind of get new perspective, a deeper perspective of life. And then taking that into coaching and getting to do that one-to-one with clients, where it's like, okay, where's your edge? Where's the discomfort? How can you step across that threshold so that you're getting more satisfied? You spot right there. I am going to be, again, I'm getting a little busier these days. So, oh, that's right. So no, so it looks like next week is going to work, but the following one won't. So connect with me online. Check me out on YouTube. I've got a whole things on hypnosis, as well as EQ educational things there. So check that out and follow me on all of the social media platforms. If you like entertainment, on Instagram is where I post my ice water stuff primarily, and also on TikTok. Okay, well, blessings, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. You can follow up afterwards. And otherwise, I will plan to be back here next week. Take care, everybody.